Hi there, this is the therapist nomad with a therapy session from the mountains in Catalunya, Spain. Today I want to talk about anxiety, and I know I have made previous videos about anxiety, but I wanted to just do an updated video. We can talk about anxiety all day. There's a lot to cover, so why not do another video on anxiety? I would like to start by saying that I have suffered with anxiety my whole life. It was actually really difficult to accept that anxiety was something I struggle with, just because going into the path of becoming a therapist, it felt like this was going to be a challenge that I was going to have all the time, and at the same time I was going to be treating people with the same challenge. So I really felt discouraged and felt like I was going to be unsuccessful. But honestly, I am happy to tell you today, after 6 years of practicing my career, that it doesn't feel that way. It actually feels like a collaboration between my clients and I, because they teach me about vulnerability. I help them with techniques. I also feel like I have to stay more accountable when I am doing therapy about anxiety, because I have to practice what I preach, right? So it is very motivating to do therapy and guide people and support them throughout their anxiety journey, because I also stay accountable. But that's a long story to just tell you that today I was struggling with anxiety. I came to the mountains with my boyfriend and my friend to ski, and last time I skied I had a bad fall, so I was having nightmares last night about falling, getting hurt, getting lost, and I woke up with this anxiety. Another thing that I struggle with is driving in the mountains. I get really sick in my stomach, and that produces me a sensation of anxiety that's hard to tone down, because the physical symptom is so present that it feels like even if I control it in my mind, I have all of these physical symptoms that make me believe that I'm anxious. So it's really hard to control. But I got to the ski resort and I still felt this anxiety and this discomfort all over my body. And I said, look, I have to do what's best for me, and in this situation is to skip skiing for today, and that's totally fine with me. I actually would rather be here in the mountains doing therapy with all of you, with this amazing view that's so magnificent. I'm so happy to be here. So I had to put in a boundary because I wanted to do what's best for me. And yes, my boyfriend was sad that I didn't ski with him, but I'm in a much better place. It's my weekend. I want to relax. I didn't feel like challenging myself. So that's totally fine. That's what I'm doing today for my anxiety. And this is what I want to bring to you today. What are you doing for your anxiety? Look, I'm going to put it simple for you. There's no remedy for your anxiety. I'm going to repeat that. There's no remedy or magic pill for your anxiety. Yes, there are medications, and even then, ask someone that has medication for anxiety. If they tell you that they don't struggle with anxiety anymore, it's a lie. Taking care of your anxiety is a daily routine. It has to be included in your everyday life. And I struggle to do that. I can't take care of things every day, right? Sometimes I forget to do the things that work for me. Sometimes my routine changes, especially with traveling and changing routines, changing environments all the time. It makes it really difficult, because every time we get to a new place, I have to find all of my comfort again and make my anxiety routine fit in the new space, and that takes some time. Even when I had an ordinary life that I was like every day at home in the same space, I sometimes would forget. You have to take a shower before bed. Hot tea helps before bed. Cleaning your space and organizing your room, making your environment feel better, makes you feel better. Making sure you keep up with your meals makes you feel better. So all of these little things that I do to improve my anxiety sometimes are not possible to do, or sometimes I forget, and then days go by and whoop, my anxiety peaks, and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? What can I do? Let me try a meditation. Let me try to do this or that, and things are not working because I'm in a high level of anxiety. And look, you will get there every once in a while, because if you struggle with anxiety, think about it as a condition. Think about it as something you're gonna probably have to go through your whole life, and that's okay. There are a lot of us in the world. Trust me, you're not alone. When I ask you, what are you doing for your anxiety? I want to hear you say that you have daily routines that are dedicated for maintenance of good mental health. I want to hear that you have something for your cognitive state. Also, that you have something for your physical body, and hopefully something for your soul. So let's break those 3 options down into easy things that you can do so you can maybe add to your toolbox of activities that you can do to cope with anxiety. So let's start with number 1, a cognitive strategy. What I mean by this is that you have a concept, an idea, or an activity that's based on thought work to help you get through a moment of anxiety. For example, something that I do is to think that my anxiety, and I hope this doesn't sound weird, but I like to think that my anxiety is a monster, that the more I feed it and reinforce it, the bigger it's gonna get. So I have to do something against my anxiety, if that makes sense. I'll give you an example. Something that I constantly struggle with is with what's next. As a traveler, as a nomad, there's always something happening next, and you don't have the plans for it necessarily. So I'm always anxious about where are we going to travel next, what's going to be our apartment like, what if I don't like our apartment, what if we don't have good internet. All of these things really stress me out. The way I feed that anxiety is by researching apartments and researching the new place and like stressing out about it, talking about it obsessively every day. Think about it. This is all food for my anxiety monster because it's reinforcing it. My anxiety wants me to control my environment and wants me to stress out about things about the future, and the more I do it, the bigger it gets. What I have to do is opposite action. The moment I find myself researching too much or talking about it too much, I tell myself, okay, that's the anxiety monster getting bigger. Stop. If I am doing research, I close all of the tabs, close my computer, that's it. If I am talking about it, I make a conscious effort to change the conversation, that's it. Does this mean that I'm invalidating myself? No. This means that I have to take a more conscious approach to work on my anxiety. After I do opposite action, another cognitive strategy that I have is to use a statement formula that I offer to all of my clients. I love it. It helps change my narrative. So it starts with even though, nevertheless, and I'll explain it now. So even though I am nervous about where I'm going to go next, nevertheless, I know that I'm going to be safe and that I'm going to find a place to be at. That gives me peace, and it's validating that there's a stressful, negative situation and it ends with something hopeful or something that makes me feel more positive. Now, those are 2 cognitive exercises that you can do. As I said, number 1, think that your anxiety is a monster, and when you find yourself feeding it, stop giving it power. Number 2, use some thought work, change your narrative, go on this website, I think is therapistaid.com, and find a worksheet to work on your anxiety, journal about it, but do something to improve your self-talk. Now, number 2, what to do for your physical body. I'm going to give you some examples of things that I think that we sometimes underestimate that really help with your anxiety. Exercise. And when I say exercise, I don't want you going to the gym and spending an hour and going full force and like leaving the gym feeling sore and tired. No, that's not what you want to do. I prefer to call exercise movement, by the way. All I want you to do is to move for at least 20 minutes a day. As I said, this doesn't have to be an hour or a super tedious activity. Even if you can do 10 minutes, if you want to start with 10 minutes, go for it. But I promise, 20 minutes of your day pass by very fast. You don't even notice it when you're scrolling on Instagram and an hour passes by and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? I promise it's going to be very unnoticeable. You can go to the gym, you can do a yoga class, you can do a YouTube class, you can go take a walk, something for movement. Another thing you can do is meditation, and this actually helps for your cognitive state and also for your physical body and for your soul. But just going into your meditating pose, it's going to feel good in your body. So I don't know if you've heard about this before, but I call it calm your skin. Our skin is the biggest organ in our body. Did you know that? If you think about this phrase, I feel like I'm gonna crawl out of my skin, it's because when you're so anxious and feeling uncomfortable in your body, you want to almost like get out of it, right? And you can't, but something you can do is to calm your skin. Touch yourself, give yourself a hug. You can practice a butterfly hug exercise. You can try to use a weighted blanket and like just try to crawl into a ball, whatever you need to do, but try to calm your skin, touch yourself. Trust me, it helps. Third option is to do something for your soul. And as I said earlier, meditation is a wonderful practice. You can also engage in self-care activities, your typical face mask or a bubble bath, aromatherapy, reading, watching an inspirational video. If you're religious, please pray, please connect with your higher power. Spend time alone if you have to. Listen to music, listen to something that you like, something relaxing, hopefully, or go out to the woods, go out to the mountains, get lost for a little bit, find the silence that you need to ground yourself again. Alright guys, so those are 3 options of things to do when you are feeling anxious, and I just want to leave you with this question of what are you doing for your anxiety? And if you're not doing anything, it's time to start doing something for it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you the next time in another video on the Therapist Nomad channel. Take care.